Hello my beautiful angels, welcome or welcome back to my channel. It's Evie, and when I tell you today's video is going to be so fun. We are already in the second week of October, and this means I definitely have to make a fall essentials kind of wish list. So I've written everything down on my iPad just to make everything more organized and structured. And when I tell you, this list is long. Obviously, you don't have to necessarily buy everything. This is just to give you some inspiration, because on here I've truly written down everything I would buy if I could buy everything in the world. I'm also thinking about making a wish list for the winter season, and I've already bought some essentials for winter. So yeah, I already know what I could talk about. For those who don't know, I love fall. I'm so obsessed. I think it might be my favorite season. I'm kind of in between of winter and fall, but I think fall is better. Now, before we actually start, really briefly about the video structure itself. So we're starting with fashion and accessories, where the vibe is just very timeless and soft luxury. Overall cozy, but make it elegant. And then we're heading over to beauty and self-care essentials. So just to really get this effortless elegance. And then we're moving on with cozy home and ambiance essentials. And then lastly, little luxury essentials, which I'm also really happy to talk about because these things are really essential. And yeah, that will pretty much be it. We're having 4 very strong and detailed chapters. The first thing to start with would be long wool coats in beige or brown, or just very warm and slightly muted tones, depending of course also on your color palette. But these are perfect even for days where you're not feeling like putting together an outfit or you don't really know what to wear. You can just wear whatever, honestly, and then you just put a cute coat over it, and that's pretty much the outfit. So yeah, it's pretty much giving effortless elegance, and they're not only keeping you warm, but if you ask me, I would say they're also very cozy depending on what you are buying. But yeah, wool coats are just always so cozy in my opinion, and these are my favorites that are on my personal wish list. This one is more on a budget, and this one is a little bit pricier, I'm aware of that. But the thing is, it's up to you if you want to invest in something that you can wear on a long-term base, or maybe something that is more on a budget. And that doesn't necessarily have to mean that it won't last you long. Obviously, I know what I'm talking about, but these are the options in different price ranges. The next thing on the list would be cashmere sweaters or oversized knits. Again, they are so comfy if you know what to buy, and these are the ones I would recommend for each category. So this one for cashmere sweaters and this one for oversized knits. Both are great. I wouldn't say you necessarily have to choose between one of them. It's really about the texture and the material that really elevates your day, because wearing something that looks good and sits nicely and just feels also nicely is so important. And these ones, obsessed. By the way, regarding the list, I'm just gonna talk you through everything I've written down, because otherwise this video will be way too long. So don't be confused by me maybe kind of writing down everything. I'm still explaining, but as I was saying, this is a video for inspiration, so do not mind that. Next thing I would get would be some elegant boots. They can also be knee-high and also high heels. So these are the ones I would get. I already have so many, but these ones I would definitely add to my collection. And then, I don't know if I've mentioned that, but silk is also a very essential material that you should have in your wardrobe. And if you want to style that and don't just want to have a silk morning robe, you can go for silk scarves. They have such a nice material. They look so elevated and elegant, and yeah, you pretty much can't go wrong with a good silk scarf in my opinion. But of course you can also get some softer wool scarves or something, which I also have plenty of. And for this I would maybe recommend you one that is a little bit more textured, because with that you can immediately elevate a very simple outfit just by adding the scarf. And at best, maybe also kind of have the color of the scarf within your outfit. And then also some statement rings. One pair is enough in my opinion, and these are the ones I've found recently. They are so gorgeous and they're also kind of on a budget, so I love them. I think these ones go pretty well with everything, so this is also a great aspect. And then also invest in a good leather bag. It doesn't necessarily have to be real leather, and this would also be better for the animals but less good for the environment. Maybe you can also thrift one, but just in case you can't find anything thrifting, these are the options that I would personally buy. This is my favorite. And then the last fashion item I have on my wish list would be a vintage inspired hat or beret, and I must say it's a little bit out of my comfort zone because usually I don't wear hats or berets, but especially berets, I'm so obsessed with them at the moment. They're all over my Pinterest just because I think they fit quite well into my style. Maybe something quite close to your hair color, or maybe black or beige. But I would also recommend a beret or a hat to you because I feel like it's just such a nice way to look even more put together, and it's great for accessorizing your outfit. So yeah, why not try that? Now, from the vibe itself, these are all about effortless elegance and everyday rituals. The first thing would be to invest in a luxury facial oil. Can also be on a budget, but just with a very luxury feel, like rosehip or squalane, for example. And fitting to that, in case you don't have that already, a good gua sha or just a facial roller, so that you can combine these and just include them in your self-care Sunday routine, for example, and just have very smooth, nice skin. Because especially during the colder months, I feel like my skin is getting more dry than in the summer, for example. So I would say having a good skincare routine and also a good facial oil routine, yeah, definitely. Talking about moisturized skin, I would also get a creamy body butter, at best with vanilla or amber scent. I recently got one out of the drugstore, and when I tell you I love this one so much, it is so good. Not only do you need such a little of the product, but it also smells so nicely and makes my skin feel so good. Two other things that go hand in hand but are also very important are having a good silk sleep mask as well as a silk pillowcase. First of all, it's much better for your skin because this way it won't get that wrinkly as if you would maybe lay on a very textured kind of material, so very textured pillowcase or something. But also it's great for your hair, you will have less breakage, and also besides the physical benefits that you will have from that, it's also so cozy and I really love it. I'm obsessed. For the sleep mask, this is the one I found recently from Opoly. It's not really elegant, but I feel like it's so cute. Also because of the little ruffles right here. In case you're not into that, here's an even more elegant and it's kind of more neutral sleep mask, which I'm also obsessed with. Or you could also simply get the ones that are just very simple in like white or ivory or something like that. I also have an ivory one, and it's pretty much my ride or die, but I really want to invest in something that is more elegant and just a little bit more detailed. Because as humans, we are very visual people, and having something that is also very appealing to the eye, but not only like helps you and feels good and stuff, is also really important, and this can really elevate your day. Maybe even if you have only one item that really speaks to your eye. And then also having good perfume with at best warm notes, so something like vanilla or amber again. But I also recommend a sandalwood or tonka bean. These are the ones I found that are also definitely on my wish list. And then lastly, nail polish. For those of you getting gel nails, I'm sorry, this is not really helpful. But for me, these are my natural nails, and I know this shade is definitely not autumnal. But these are the perfect shades for autumn, if you ask me. And I already have these ones, but those, are you kidding me? They are so pretty. And I would say nails are also a great way to accessorize your outfits, because they just make the whole look even more complete, even though it's such a small little detail. But if your nails also match maybe the very neutral color that your outfit has, maybe a good shade of brown, and then you also even have brown nails, especially for a monochrome outfit. The attention to details, I am impressed. I'm just realizing half of the list is already done. Can you believe it? We went by so quickly, but anyways. to get a very cozy ambience and just have everything feel very autumnal, it's best to really satisfy all of your senses, and with that also your smelling senses. And for this I've written down candles, obviously, and best some with notes like cedarwood, vanilla, or just some fireplace smoke. And something I've really been on the hunt on recently is to get something that really smells like something fresh baked, like fresh cookies or fresh pancakes, just because I love how this smells. And I know this is not really something for everyone, but for me, how amazing is that if you just have a house that smells like fresh pancakes all of the time? Yes. And luckily I actually found very good ones for this. Those are the ones I was talking about, and oh my goodness, I will definitely buy them. To accentuate the cozy feel of your home even more, I would get some linen or velvet throw pillows. Again, they not only look good but also feel good, which is perfect. And with that also a very chunky knit blanket, because I know those thin ones are also more practical because of storage and stuff like that. But these chunky blankets, I think they look so good and so cozy because they're really just like a little cloud. And by the way, there are many studies showing that having something weighted laying on you, such as in that case a very chunky blanket, actually kind of calms your mind and also reduces stress, because to our subconscious it actually sends out the signal that we are receiving a hug. And this is also again great for your mental, and all these items in one are just perfect because no matter how stressful maybe your workday was, as soon as you enter home and just have this cozy ritual of winding down, for me this solves all of my problems, literally, and home is supposed to be your safe space. So with that, investing in at least some of these items is really necessary. In terms of decoration, you could also get some decorative candle holders or glass jars. And then also something I'm doing pretty much every year is to get yourself an autumnal mug. And this is just my little welcoming for the new season, but also because you have your statement mug that you're always using. You don't necessarily have to do this every year. Obviously, it's also great if you just buy one that is great once. And then you might have this secret excitement when fall is there. So yeah, it's just your little fall essential. And these are perfect for maybe hot chocolate or even for tea. But part of my self-care Sunday ritual is to always make myself one hot chocolate, at best with like syrup and marshmallows, and also with melted chocolate on the bottom that I can then kind of spoon and eat, you know. And having this in a very aesthetic, cozy autumnal mug makes everything just 10 times better. I'm also recommending weed diffusers or just overall essential oil blends, or maybe even a room spray, because when everything smells fresh, also because every time I have fresh sheets, I'm immediately spraying some scent on them. And I would say you should especially do that during the autumn-winter seasons, because this makes everything just so much more cozy and calming and just gives your home even more warmth. So yeah, you have to romanticize your bedtime as much as possible, because we're spending so much time in our beds, kind of like half of our lives. Not half of our lives, a little bit less, but still so many years you're spending sleeping in your bed. So you have to romanticize that and also make it a luxury. I could have sectioned this into the fashion section, but I believe that for little luxury essentials, this would be even more suitable. So silk pajamas or matching loungewear sets. Also because when we're at home, we don't want to wear maybe an oversized jumper or something like that. We want to be still luxurious and cozy at the same time. So just in case you want to be elegant, even when you're just by yourself at home and not just when you're getting ready, these are my favorites that I have on my wish list. And with that, also a good quality planner or journal, maybe even with like brown or gold detailing. I know gold detailing is just such a small little detail, but trust me, it's so much better. And I know you will probably not just use it for the autumn season, it's probably a yearly planner, but still. And you can also get some digital ones, by the way. I also have some of those on my Etsy, as well as some wall art, by the way, so in case you're interested in that. I also have it linked down here in the video description. But anyways, having a good planner, maybe even digital, is so important, because for me, before winding down, I take my iPad or take my manual planner, depending on what I currently have. At the moment, I'm using my iPad, and next year probably again a manual planner. I would also recommend you to get a designer perfume, one that has been on my wish list for 1 year, but I'm kind of always forgetting to buy it. Is this one, the Vanilla Diorama. You can't find it in any store like Sephora or something. I think probably because it's kind of expensive, but it smells so good, and I ran out of this, but this is my favorite from all perfumes, and maybe also Van Cleef. But just to have a good designer perfume, even because of the packaging itself, but also because you have to invest in yourself, and this is a great investment for your mental, but also for your physical, because you feel good, you smell good, and you can also, if you want to, spray it on your bed, which is also something I do. Yes, I spray designer perfume on my bed, and I'm also using perfume right before going to sleep. But honestly, why not? As I was saying, you spend so much time in your bed, so... And then also, this sounds slightly hilarious, but get yourself kind of high-end tea, but you can also just get something with very luxurious packaging that might also be a little bit more expensive, probably. For example, this is my absolute favorite high-end tea. They have different blends, obviously. If you're not into that, you can also just get some jars, and then you just get some loose tea and put them into the jars and make everything just look pretty, and then you have your tea corner. I feel like it's just so much more luxurious. Hot chocolate is cozy, but tea is truly luxurious. And also, it smells so good, so invest in some high-end tea. Please do me the favor. And honestly, this wish list isn't just about things. It's about the feeling of comfort, beauty, and also adding touches of magic into your everyday life. To end this video, I kindly want to ask you what you have on your wish list, or maybe which of the things from my wish list you would also buy. And yeah, that's it with the video. Love you, bye!